I felt like we wrestled well. I mean, you know, if you can always judge yourself on teams like that, but I think that's a lot better team, probably a team in the top 25, to tell you the truth. Probably see that in the near future. That success they'll have. Several guys on that team that were good last year. I mean, we struggled with them, even though the score was lopsided, and when we wrestled Levi, and then we went back across the state and wrestled them. We had a really tougher duel than I wanted, you know. And so, you know, you look at Dayton. He won 4-1 last year, and he picked up 9-10 points, 10-1 before he pinned him. Big difference, you know. They're 84-pounder. We squeaked out the match with Woodlake, and it's good to see Plott. First outing at 84, just put a hammer down, you know. So train of thought there. That was Mullins.
Yeah. Talking to Plott and Spradling both, they brought up that this is one of the closer wrestling teams they've been on. And I know it's early, but as a coach, do you sense your room is tight?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's good energy, you know, and I think I know you guys visited a little bit with Spratley early on. And he, you know, anytime you start with just start with some spunk, you know, and he's got a lot of spunk in him. I mean, he shows up to practice and he's got a smile on his face, and then he kicks it in gear, and he's working harder than anyone. You know, and I don't know. There's just something that he brought to the room. You know, what does that mean for him? He's got a lot of work ahead of him. He needs to get a little bigger. He's got to put on a little bit of size before we hit these bigger 25-pounders. But up to this point, you know, he's, you know, I think he's ranked somewhere between 23 and 25. That ain't gonna hit it, you know. So I think he's looking forward to the competition, and he you know, just having a few more guys that just, you know, can take over a role as a leader, or a role as just a guy that's going to go out and he's going to wrestle hard for your team, no matter if he wins or not. That's big. People are motivated by guys that work hard on the mat, compete hard.
John, do you often, after the duel, Dayton referred to Troy as a spark plug, you know, hitting at his energy, his enthusiasm, his willingness to get better every day. Do you often see a young prospect, a freshman, with that much energy and that much drive early on in their careers?
No. Yeah, he's had a year in college, and that's probably the difference, right? But I haven't seen him beat down any yet either. You know, I mean, somewhere in your career, something might go wrong, and whether that be a few losses or an injury, and so you got to see the whole package. But so far, it's been really good. Both him and Reagan Jamison have been good. It's been good to have.
If Dayton says something like that about the guy ahead of him, does that make it a slam dunk that you're never going to think about starting a match? And you typically like to start at 125 anyway. I like it that way. Mm-hmm. But boy, it makes it convenient. Yeah, we'll just start at 125.
Yeah, for me, I don't see any reason to not start at 25. Yeah, you're right. If you see that we're starting somewhere else, it won't be because of us. Their choice. And no, there'll be teams that will move away from it. Yeah, they don't want their first two guys, maybe two of our best guys. You know, they're not going to want to start the duel there.
You're going to Lindenwood and you're taking a bunch of your starters. Is that because of the way the schedule is, that you have kind of a break in here?
Really, it's Minnesota was scheduled, and you know, we worked with them for, I don't know, 3 months, seemed like. And, somehow They
Didn't-
wiggled out of it. That's about the best word I can use. I was thinking of something worse than that, but I don't know. Anyway, it leaves us a date, right? We first time in I don't know, my whole career that we've had to, our schedule is set and we have to go back and change it. It's never happened. COVID, we just didn't have meets, canceled meets. But we decided also as well that we would not wrestle in Italy. I understood that, you know, that was something that really wasn't my decision, but I felt like it was a really probably important that we did that, you know. And I'm not gonna make any excuses for why we're not. I mean, obvious reasons. There's obvious reasons why we're not traveling. And so we're going to wrestle NC State at NCAA State, and they're going to come back here. And that's going to help our schedule a little bit because we have a really good home dual meet schedule this year, and that's going to add some strength to it. But with that extra date with Minnesota, not having that meet, we decided that we're going to compete at Lindenwood. So we only had one day, and on your schedule, 2-day tournament counts as, it can count as one day, but we already have a 2-day tournament that we're counting as one day. So that's Cliff Keen. So I think we're somewhere in the range of 33 or 34 guys to load up on the bus on Friday. Yeah, and much of, and hopefully the majority of the starters. As of right now, I think all of them. We'll see how. Had a couple of them have a little small little injuries, but I don't think at this point we're too concerned with them missing the weekend.
Do you know anything else with Braden?
He's going to be back quick. Yeah, quicker than we thought. So I would assume that he would be back for.
Lehigh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe
Keen?
Cliff Keen. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's not nearly as bad as that he made it look. You know, but it is a scary injury. You know, your hamstring. I mean, my experiences with guys, it's a bad feeling. You know.
We talked to you last week. You couldn't say anything, so you didn't have the signed documents sent over or scanned over. Talk about your recruiting class.
Yeah, Merrill. I mean, we'll start with him. I mean, he comes out of California, a 97-pounder. I think they have him ranked around 5th or 6th best recruit, pound for pound. I would say he's better than that. I'm telling you, this kid's good. Daniel Cormier, spent a lot of time with him, and we see a lot of Daniel in him. He's quick, explosive, uses his speed. This guy's good. Hey, he's good. For where he's at and what he did last summer at Junior Nationals at Fargo. Didn't get scored on, tech fall to everybody. I mean, wrestling some guys that are heading to D1, big schools. He's good. I mean, maybe one of those Dayton Fix signs, you know. I mean, could be that, you know. And so, J.J. McComas from Stillwater, great kid. He's really progressed, you know, each and every year. And if you would have asked me 3 years ago, could he wrestle for Oklahoma State, I'd probably told you no. You know, that's just, and I just seen a good attitude and taking responsibility for getting better, and he's gotten a lot better. He's been competitive. He's wrestled some of the best guys in the country, tough and hard, and he's dedicated. I mean, he's devoted to it. I mean, you see his attitude, and it's something that rubs off on everyone. Ren from Tokyo or from Japan, Sakamoto. He's good. He's good. He's quick. He's fast. He's something. I think for us, it was about maybe our history of having Japanese wrestlers that really helped us, and a lot of them having a lot of success. I think 5 of them won 4 national championships. Different guys. I think that was what it was about. I think our past helped scoop him in. That he had trust that I think he wanted to come over here. He wanted to attend American school. He wanted to wrestle folk style wrestling, and he wants to be an Olympic champion. And I think someday he'll probably have that opportunity to wrestle for Japan one day in the Olympics. So those are 2 good kids. The kid that we scooped up from Idaho is just a bonus, and he's solid, and his efforts and everything he does is just really hard. So anyway, Ren and Merrill, as well as JJ, I would have to tell you those are three of the 3 good recruits. And of course, you don't stop recruiting until the portal closes. So unfortunately.
John, I know at this point last year we were kind of just spitballing about it, but obviously not too long ago it was announced Oklahoma would stay in the Big 12 for wrestling. I know it was probably predictable that would happen, but now that it's official, I mean, just your thoughts on everything. I mean, what does it mean for the Big 12 and obviously
That they're staying in?
Yeah, that they're staying in the Big
Have
12.
they announced that?
Yeah.
Yeah, when did they announce it?
Week ago?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. It's the right move, and listen, Oklahoma wrestling has nothing to do with the decision of their athletic program and their school going SEC, right? Let's not. I'm just glad that that as a conference we're not penalizing people. It's disappointing for me to see what happened and occurred, but I'm excited about OU being able to stay in the conference, and appreciate the conference office, allowing it, saying, yeah, we have a history in wrestling, and we want to maintain a great history in wrestling, and in the last few years. They've accepted Missouri back, and now we're taking OU back in, and OU belongs in our conference, and I look forward to a lot of bedlams. We may be the
You may be the only one for a while.
maybe maybe that's a good thing for us. I mean, I'd rather us all be doing it, but I look forward to maintaining bedlam and watching a lot of it.
I'm spitballing here. You use the word spitballing. Arizona State comes in. That's a really good wrestling program that you're bringing back into the conference, or bringing into the conference. Why has Colorado never wrestled? Isn't that a great high school state?
They did. Colorado wrestled back in they Title IX.
Yeah.
Uh,
But isn't their high
they
school?
cut
Aren't
it-
their high school programs still pretty good out there?
Yeah, it's one of the best. They have the highest number of attendees at the state tournament than any state in the country. I mean, they pack at that Coliseum in Denver. What is it?
Pepsi Center or
Yeah,
whatever.
the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they pack it, sell it out. So maybe we can get it back. Colorado, they were I think in the 70s, and during that time, we suffered a lot of losses at that time.
You mentioned Ren earlier.
Hey, any of them can bring it back. Cincinnati, great state. Ohio, great state for wrestling. BYU, they've
I
had
remember
it.
they've wrestled,
They've had
yeah.
it before. Yeah, Colorado. It's just it's a tough time with the challenges that we're facing and getting hit upside the head about, once a month. Yeah, and so it's a challenge right now to start anything, but sure is an opportunity, and where I think they just give it a chance. I think people jump on.
You mentioned Ren earlier and him wanting to learn folk style. What challenges will he face whenever he gets over here and has to learn that different style of wrestling?
Getting off the mat. I mean, that's. If you remember Z, our heavyweight. I mean, it almost took us 3/4 of a year to finally get him up. So it's just such a different, where if I get taken down in freestyle, I try to defend a turn, and I don't try to get an escape. Actually, you'd be silly. You'd probably give up a lot of points. So that would be the challenge: just getting him up off the mat, teach him a little bit about riding. But it's still with the changes in the takedown being 3 points. I mean, this is big. I think that the riding and coming off the bottom is going to become less important when there's a 3-point takedown. And if you saw our match, you saw how quickly you can get there to a tech fall. You saw how quickly a match can change, how critical it is to, getting 2 takedowns and 1 escape in the first and going into the second 6-1, and you go down, make it 7-1. And with another takedown makes it 10-1. I mean, the other way would be 6-2. Now it's 10-1 in that scenario. So a lot of different scenarios exist that we're still trying to figure them all out. I mean, and it'll take us 3 or 4 months to really just take the whole season to really just understand the differences between a 3-point takedown and a 2-point takedown.
I wasn't there. I was in Florida watching it on my phone. It sounded like, and I don't know how many people were in there, but it sounded like it was saying the fact that points started. I mean, Americans love points.
Yeah, in everything.
Yeah.
And we need to continue with it, So the 2 big changes this year was the 3-point takedown, and then they added the 3-point near fall. So 2, 3, and 4-point near fall. So I kind of pushed for, when I was on the rules committee, which I went off last year, I pushed for the first takedown to be 3, and that be the only 3-point takedown. But I'm pleased with every one of them being 3. I mean, it doesn't bother me. We saw scores in the 20s. Couple of them, and so you'll probably see some scores in the 20s this week, and I think we'll see a score someday in the 30s. And when I say someday, under these rules, you sit there and you take a guy down, and let him go. It takes, hey, I mean, you'll be surprised how, that when I say we'll see some takedown, we'll see some scores in the 30, we'll see one this year. I don't know when, but it'll happen. Now, it might be 30-15.
Yeah.
We'll see it. It's going to be some crazy matches.
What was the
Guy can come behind fast. Like you can be down 8-1, and you're going to see it. You're going to see guys come from behind 8-1. Hopefully not on my guys. Hopefully we're the ones. Hopefully we're never behind 8-1. But it's going to happen. You're going to see some crazy stuff with this scoring.
Yeah, Nationals is where I expect to see some crazy.
You're going to see some crazy. You're going to go, my gosh! I mean, he's up 6-1, and all of a sudden, the guy's down 12-10. Like, wow. So 3-point takedown is going to make a big difference. The extra near fall, I don't know. It probably will.
John, you mentioned how initially you were pushing for the first takedown only be worth 3. What was the philosophy behind that?
Just aggressive. Start the match. whoever gets the first takedown, he gets 3. The rest of them are 2. So that's an extra point, you know. And so just starting the match, being aggressive, you know, and not running a 0-0 score. I think we had one match that didn't score first period. Connor Doucette's. Surprise. A little bit. Yeah. Needs to score more points. 0-0 is not good. We don't want to watch it either.